As software engineers, we have all worked with Cursor, Cloudy, Lovable, and other tools to generate and write code for us. But how can we have our own system and own web application to write code for us? In this video, we're going to tell you how to create this using C#, .NET, and ChatGPT API. Let's go for the demo.
So this is our final application. As you can see, it's getting a location on my system where it saves files. It's getting my prompts. It's getting a programming language, for example, C#, JavaScript, Python, whatever you want, and a project time, whether it is a web API project, an MVC project, or Blazor or something else, and some technologies and features. This is a custom UI that I designed. It can be whatever you want. For example, I can check EF Core and, for example, MongoDB. And let's test it out. I click on Generate Project. As you can see, this is my folder where I'm going to save files in. Nothing is here. Let's wait until it gets completed. And here we go. We have our products management. It has my SLN file. There's an API folder in that. I have controllers, app setting, program.cs, anything we want. Let's get into the video to see how to create. Let's go to the next step. Our next step is going to be the last one, creating the files that ChatGPT told us. We're going to create a very interesting but simple application. You'll be shocked how easy it is to create this. So let's go to the code. I've created an MVC project from Visual Studio template. As you can see, we have whatever we want. We have our home controller, which we have an index get and index post method. Actually, the post method is where we generate the project. We have a view with some simple HTML codes that I pasted here. We're not going to talk about these things. You can copy and paste them or change them in a way you like. And the binding for our model is working. And for more information, this is our model. Let's go to the DTO. Okay, it's setting a prompt, language, type, base location, and list of technologies, as we saw in the web application demo. So very simple, everything's simple here. Nothing special in these files. Okay, let's get started. As we said, our first step is to get the user prompt, which we are doing right now. Our next step is to create a system prompt for the LLM. So let's get into it. I just create a extension methods file and make it static to call it easier. And here I'm going to have a static void generates method. It gets my DTO, generate DTO, okay. And here I'm going to write my other methods. It's going to be build prompt, public static, or even private static, the string, build prompt. It gets to generate DDO, and here we go. So I just write a simple string builder to help me create this. It's going to be speed. Okay. First of all, I'm going to tell the agents, the LLM, that you are a AI developer agent. Okay, very simple. I give user prompt to that. It's going to be generate dot prompt. I'm going to tell it which programming languages to use. Programming language. You're easily getting these values from the user and telling the LLM to use them. We have a project type. Let's write it capital, project type, which is this, and our technologies. because we have a list of string for technologies, and I want to pass just one string here. I'm going to use a string dot join here with comma and generate dot technologies. Okay, and return the sp that to a string, which returns a string for us. When working with LLMs inside their application, the most important thing to do could be prompt engineering. It's very important to tell LLMs what to do, what not to do, how to do it. So prompt engineering, guys, is very important nowadays. We need to learn about it, and we need to give it more data. So I've created some ready prompts to tell it this is it. And a simple Visual Studio trick, click in one line, press and hold Alt and Shift, click on the last line, and then you're going to select all of them together. Just a simple Visual Studio trick. So these are my final prompts. Let's see what are they. The first prompt says, make sure to add all of the required imports and using in the code, because it may forget that. The next one says you need to create all of the files. There's no file there, even the solution file, CSproj file, layouts, referencing libraries, and anything else. So it knows that it should create solutions and CSproj as well. The next one says, do not place solution and project in the same directory. Look at here. This is our folder that contains everything. This is our SLN, and this is our API folder. We cannot place SLN here. It's not going to work. So it must always be one level higher than other codes. That's why I told that this prompt. The next one says use program.cs, not the startup.cs. When working with .NET Core, generating .NET Core projects, ChatGPT used to make this mistake, so I did it. So here, you may have one question. What if we want to create a Python application? What if we want to use another programming language or another framework? It doesn't have program.cs. So what we can do is to save some prompts for each technology in our database. So when a user selects a technology or clicks on a technology, we can easily load our prompts and tell the LLM to use them. The next one says if user asks to create views, use beautiful and responsive design, and you must not explain, oh my god, these two last prompts are super important for the application to work. We say you must not explain how to do that, just return JSON, because we're going to deserialize the JSON and use them in our application. We don't want it to tell us how to do it. We just want it to do it for us. We just want it to return it to us. And the last prompt says you must return lists of JSON that contains path and content. Why path and content? Remember these names. They can be anything, but same as our properties in our DTOs. Here in the generate DTO, I create a simple DTO says file DTO. The name doesn't matter here, but I want to create some properties here. The first one is path. Because LLM may use some architectures or may need some folders that puts file there. So it knows the path of each file. I need to get it from there. You remember that we had a base location here. This path is different than this base location. We do not tell LLM about this, but it needs to get us the path. For example, slash controllers slash products slash product controller.cs. It could be the path that LLM gives us. And the second property is the contents. What are we going to save in that file? What are the codes? Tell me the contents. So, and let's see, these names and these path and contents are exactly the same. If they're not the same, it's not going to work. Okay, that's our second step. The build prompt is over. I'm going to get the prompt here. Build prompts. Okay. Our next step is to call the LLM. So I'm going to write a region here for cleaner code, all LLM. As I've said, you can use your own local model here or call an API. You can use Azure services for AI, which is very strong, whatever you're easier. I've created a method that calls OpenAI for us. Well, as you can see, I have the API key here. Ideally, in our projects, we never write these important informations here. We save them in the env file, or we save them in the Azure and we load it. But because it's a YouTube video, we can easily save it here. I'm going to change this API key later, and I got it from platform.openai.com. As you can see, it's getting the user prompt, which we pass it, and a model. Currently, I use GPT 4o model for creating codes and generating codes, but you can use other models like GPT 5 as well, which is released very early. Okay, and let's remove this. We're going to talk about this later. Okay, I say LLM JSON response is always asynchronous. Generate is prompts dot. We have a typo here. Prompts dot call OpenAI. Okay, and everything's fine here. Okay, when working with GPT 4o and getting some JSONs from that, it's going to return something like this in the beginning. Let's write it in the comments. Something like this in the beginning of the JSON. So we cannot deserialize it, and it's not going to work. We need to remove these characters from this string. Currently, this string contains this plus the real JSON and this. We do not need this part and this part. So I've created a method that removes these parts and formats it for us so we can easily deserialize it. Here it is. You can just copy and paste it for yourself or write your own. And I'm going to share the GitHub repository with you guys. This is it. As you can see, it gets the contents, and using regex, it removes this part and return this string to us. And here, when we say calling the LLM, we just extract JSON from code block. This is it. We have our LLM JSON response. The next step is to deserialize it. So I want to deserialize it to list of file DTO. I say files, JSON, serializer, the deserialize. It is list of file DTO. And here's my JSON. So now we have list of file DTO. From now on, everything is pure C#, and we have an easy work to do. Just write another method, create files. It is async. I want to return the created files count here, and I say create files. Oh, this needs to be static. I'm going to get list of file DTO, loop on them, files, and I need the base location actually. I get the base location. So I create an integer named created count and return it here, so I don't get the error anymore. And our full path is going to be path.combine, file.path, base location, and file.path. It's going to return the full path that we're going to save in our application. I need a directory name to check does it exist? Does this folder exist or not? If not, I'm going to create it. Path that's directory name. I get the full path. And here I say if path.exist, full path. If you didn't have the path, then directory.create directory, name of this directory. And our last step, oops, I've just deleted everything. The last step is to tell file that writes alt text async and file dot content. That's it. What's wrong with that? Oh, it needs path as well. I'm going to get it full path. That's it. So here we just simply say this. Await files that create files. That's it. And actually generate that base location. We are doing it in 4 lines of code and some other methods. And in my home controller, I'm going to call it await generate dot generate. You've written a clean code. I'm really enjoying that. And let's test, does the project work or not? Let's back to our folder. I'm going to remove this one and run my application. I'm very excited to see, is it gonna work or not? Let's write the prompt. I want a web application for managing my products and adding a new product. Okay, I'm going to use C# and I'm going to use Web API, EF4, and let's go for SQL Server. We click on the Generate project and let's see what happens. Okay. This time let's open this solution in Visual Studio and see everything more clear. Okay, here's my project. Let's get through that. Let's check out the program.cs. It's using Microsoft Entity Framework Core. Oh, we need to actually rebuild the project to install some dependencies. But I think that it's missing some usings in our program.cs. Yes, the web application is missing. Let's just change it here. Okay. Oh, it's missing multiple usings here, which we need to fix. Yes. Okay. Let's check the other files. We have our app settings. Oh, amazing. I have the connection string, I have the logging part. And actually I can just change it to dot for myself on my own system. And I do not have a username or password for my SQL Server. It's a Windows authentication. So it's gonna work. Interesting. We have our model. We have our context. Very nice. And let's check out the controller. As you can see, it's an API controller. And it's not using system.link. Very interesting. As you can see, all of the codes are right, but the only problem is our application is not adding the required usings, which we need to change our prompts to make sure it works. But when creating developer agents, one of the most important things is that we should write a retry policy for that. Even when working with GPT, Canva mode, and you write code, you see that when it runs it may get some errors. So what we should do, we have 2 options. The first one is building the project automatically, getting the errors, sending them to LLMs, and do all of the steps together. This is the first one, which is a great option, as Cursor is doing. The second option is to do what GPT is doing. We just show the errors to the users. User can select the errors and click on fix the bug or fix it manually. But all in all, this is new way of writing codes. It's like an evolution, a revolution, and it's going to change everything. We're not going to write everything statically like we used to do 10 years ago.
You see, we did it. In less than half an hour, we've created our own web application that generates and writes code for us. We can customize it. It can even be free for us if we connect a local LLM to that, and so much more. Hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe this video and tell us about this video in the comments below.